In this video, I'm going to share my top strategies on how to start vlogging as somebody that hates being on camera. So hopefully these will make you feel more comfortable on camera, but also help you create better vlogging videos. My first tip is that you should turn your home into a studio. And what I mean by this is that you want to create more places where you can record videos. So for example, I'm sitting at a desk here. I have a light set up. I've got my microphone. I've got everything that I just plug straight into my laptop, and I record directly onto my computer, and it just makes things nice, easy, straightforward, and quick for me to be able to record. But if you've got a home and you can set up different spaces, maybe you don't even have a desk or you don't need a desk. Maybe you've just got your camera of some kind or your phone. What you want to do is set up lots of mini little areas where you're able to start recording, and you could use these to change different scenes. So to make your video more interesting rather than just sitting in one place like I am now, you could actually start recording in different places. So maybe you're recording you making a cup of tea while you're talking to a point. Maybe you've got another backdrop where there's some nice plants in the background. Maybe you have a desk set up like this. Maybe you're just sitting on the sofa, but you try and set up lots of mini little areas that will make it better for your videos. So you don't actually have to go outside. And that's something I want to do more, is why I took over this beach studio and I'm fixing it up and I'm painting and decorating, and I'm going to be making lots of different areas where I can then move around. So even if it's raining outside, or, I don't feel comfortable going outside and I don't really want to, or for whatever reason. And this is why I actually like recording at home, because depending on your type of vlog, if you don't have to go outside, then why would you? Just make your inside area interesting enough. So talking head like this is interesting. It can work. It does very well. But you really want to then be bringing in some B-roll and mixing things up if you are just going to be sitting statically like this. So by having different areas and zones throughout your house where you can record, say, different scenes or different points to mix things up a bit, then you're going to have better quality videos. And you're going to be able to break things down into scenes, which makes it easier on you to record because you're not having to talk out in one go non-stop. You can break them down into bite-sized pieces of content, and that means that if you get it wrong, all you have to do is re-record that particular scene. Now, somebody that does this very well is called Katie Steckley. Katie Steckley, I think I'm saying that right, but I'll show some images of her channel on the screen. But she's been on YouTube for an extremely long time, and she's someone that does this. She basically took her apartment and she made loads of different zones, such as hammocks, a desk area, a sofa area, area by her window, her kitchen, and she records in all of these different areas. And then sometimes she takes B-roll and everything from outside. So that's the benefit, that if you're doing most of the recording inside where you're talking on camera, then the B-roll doesn't even have to have audio. You could just go outside and record some B-roll of you, say, walking or doing the things that you're talking about inside the video. So if you were sharing a story from something you were doing outside, you can record silent footage, and nobody feels uncomfortable recording silent footage. This is just somebody recording a video on their phone. People are recording videos all the time. So it's not like you're suddenly walking down the street talking as a vlogger, which would make you feel uncomfortable. So that's why I like recording at home and creating different zones. So it's something I'm going to be doing more of, but maybe you could think of that. What areas can I make the backdrop look quite good, move things around so I've got some different scenery to be able to record different parts for the video. Point number 2 is that I would recommend that you use voiceovers and talking head videos. Now, this is obviously a talking head video, and you could use this as much or as little as you like if you're also using it with voiceovers. So when I'm talking about voiceovers, I don't mean narration of the video, sort of almost silent vlog style, but you could do that. But there's a lot more editing with that because you're just doing a voice narration, in which case you need a huge amount of B-roll, and B-roll is obviously the footage that you're going to have playing in front of people, to the visual parts of the video. But without talking, it's a lot of editing. You're going to have to edit many clips together and a lot of different footage. But the benefit of having, let's say, voiceover parts is that you can potentially write a script for parts if you don't feel that comfortable, or you can literally just speak without being on camera, without having to worry about being comfortable for particular sections. Because perhaps speaking to a topic just to a microphone but not a camera is going to be easier. But then obviously we still want to have some branded aspect to your vlog. So what you can then do is do bite-sized pieces of talking head videos like this. So if I only have to remember a few sentences for the talking head part, then it's going to make it much easier for me to be on camera because I'm not going to get as self-conscious and feel as uncomfortable. I can break it up. And then over time, the talking head segments or the different scenes where you're talking directly to camera can get bigger and longer as you feel more comfortable. And the voiceovers can get shorter and shorter till you're pretty much not doing any voiceovers at all. But it will be the combination of voice, talking head, and then additional B-roll clips that you're playing while the narration part is happening. But you really want to be, even with the voiceover parts, trying to focus more on the sort of moments and interesting points and everything else. It doesn't want to just be narration. It still wants to be as if you were still having that conversation with a friend, just not on camera itself. So I like this strategy because it gives you full control over how much you're going to be on camera and how much and how professional. You can actually still make videos look incredibly professional, but without exposing yourself too much and stressing yourself out. Point number 3 is that you can use the new sort of AI editing tools like Descript to be able to edit for clarity. So editing for clarity is where you're removing the parts where you're repetitive. So if you're doing vlogging videos, you are going to do some rambling, especially in the beginning as you're trying to get used to formats and planning out your videos and thinking about what you want to say. You're going to ramble and go off on tangents and everything else. And to a degree, I like this. This is a good thing. People want authentic videos, so there's nothing wrong with this. But you will find that when you watch videos back, sometimes you're a bit repetitive. Sometimes the odd word doesn't make sense. Maybe you've got ums, ahs, everything else, and maybe you want to remove those. So what you can do with these tools is you can edit them like a document. And I will put links to Descript below this video. I'm not sponsored or anything. It's just one of the tools that I actually use to record and edit my videos just like this. So it just makes life much easier because you can edit those videos like a document, and therefore it's very straightforward for you as well. But you can edit clarity just to reduce that sort of filler and all the repeating parts and everything else. So if there's sections where you're like, actually, the video would have more clarity and be better if I just remove that entire section, then tools like Descript are just going to make that much, much easier. And then what I recommend doing is having your B-roll clips. So you could record some clips of whatever else, you doing something or something outside, or even using some stock footage just to overlay the parts where you cut it out. Now, there are different ways that we can do jump cuts. You know, where the camera goes in and out? Those are jump cuts, and those are between parts. But you have to try and make sure that the mouth and the face and the expression and the movement of the head are all in the same position. So a good way to make cuts easier for you when you remove segments is just to have some B-roll over the top. So none of us see the jump. We just hear the voice and with some B-roll. So I could be talking to camera like this, and then suddenly it switches to some B-roll. And then when it comes back on, I'm speaking to a different point. But the voice, you don't really notice the jump in terms of the video matching the audio. So that just makes, it's just a little small tip in terms of editing there. But that just makes things much easier to make your videos seem more smooth and allowing you to edit for clarity and sort of have those overlays and those smooth transitions without it looking cut up in a very sort of brutal way. Tip number 4 is to research other vloggers out there. So what I would do is I would really go out onto YouTube and research all the different types of vlogging styles. Vlogging has moved on a lot. It's no longer just about what we're actually walking down the street, day in the life type of videos. You know, it's not this daily vlogging style anymore. Most of what we do these days is sort of vlogging with purpose. There's educational channels where you vlog. There's business channels where you vlog. Vlogging is talking head videos. Vlogging is being in the car. Vlogging is walking down the street. Vlogging is slightly more professional videos. The vlogging part is more of the authentic, less scripted style of videos where you're sharing more of your life, you're being more authentic, you're connecting with people more, you're talking to people a bit more like they're a friend. So it's this more relaxed style of less production, simpler, more minimalist style of videos. So vlogging has changed, and there's a lot of different ways that people are doing it. So what I recommend is that you go out and you watch some of these videos and you see people doing different styles, because you're going to find a style that works for you. So maybe I've seen people they're out walking their dogs and they're recording videos, and they've got a drone following them around. So they've got drone footage, but then they find a quiet park bench and they just speak there. But then they play the B-roll of all the different clips they took with a drone and recording themselves if they're walking, and their clips of the dog and everything else. So it keeps cutting backwards and forwards, a bit like what I was talking about before, but they're outdoors. They're just not really walking and talking as much. They're recording as they're walking, but they find somewhere to sit down and actually do the talking part somewhere quiet away from people. So you kind of get the best of both, being outside and inside. So look for these different vloggers, see what people are doing, see what you think you could potentially do. Is it an indoor vlogger? Is it an outdoor vlogger? Is it a mix of the two? So research what other people are doing and then decide what you feel comfortable doing. Maybe it's going to be a mixture of two different styles, but I really think there's a huge variety of different vlogging styles out there that one of them would probably work for you and might be much easier and better for you. Maybe recording in the car because you've just got your phone, you don't have a microphone, it's the only time you get away from the kids or away from work. I know somebody that has a massive channel. I think he's called The Uneducated Economist. He has a channel of about 150,000. He gets about 500,000 monthly views. And all he does is talk about the things that he's read in terms of the economy and relating to his job and what he does, which is to do with lumber, I think. And he just rambles in his car, one edit, and then uploads it. And he does it on his coffee break from work, sitting in the car park in his van. That's it. And he is getting boatloads of views. So you can keep things as simple as possible. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get less views or carry less authority or anything like that. With that said, if you would like more help starting a vlog and picking your style, then I will put a link below this video to our Quick Start Vlogger's Guide, which will help you with that process. Point number 5 is to remove friction from the recording process. Now, I'm always saying that you should simplify as much as possible when it comes to creating any videos on YouTube, any content in general. Most of us, especially those of us that hate being on camera, we really don't want to record videos. Even if it's a subject that we enjoy talking about, we'll probably find ways to avoid doing it. We'll make excuses about life getting in the way, not having enough time, not having the right equipment, family getting in the way, no quiet time, just an abundance of excuses. So this is why I always like to have content ready to go, is why I like to have this desk set up with the light and everything connected to my computer so I can just press play. Now, you want to make sure that you're picking a format and keeping things as simple as possible and having as much simplification and friction removed so that you can just press record. And another thing I always like to do is to ask yourself, what would this look like if it's fun and easy? So what would this look like if it was fun and easy? Because you're more likely to do it if you can find a way to make it more fun. So if you find it feels a bit stuffy, a bit uncomfortable, then how can you make it more natural? How can how can you make it so that you're just recording to a friend? How can you enjoy the process more? For many of us, it is not having to read from a script, not having to be so structured. We want to be able to just wing it and just talk on it and make mistakes and just keep going. So if that's more fun, then do that. If being outside or recording in your car or doing it when you're walking is more fun for you, then do that. Find ways to remove as much friction as possible. I literally only have this talking head set up, or I literally use my action cam and I just go out. I just pick it up and I walk out the front door and that's it. So do things that are going to remove as much friction as possible, and that will make sure that you actually record more videos. And I think having a bin of ideas ready to go will also make that much, much easier for you. Point number 6 is to record with intent. Now, this will make things easier for you when you're on camera, but it will also make better vlogging videos. It will make better YouTube videos in general. So although we want to keep things relaxed, we don't want to script as much, we still have to make sure that we're planning videos out. You don't want to just wing it. We don't want to go full grandpa mode and just ramble on camera. Like I think the grandpa method, and I love it, it's the best thing out there. It's the best way of doing it. But even the grandpa's method, which is where we just sort of ramble on camera to a particular point, you still need a format to it. Otherwise, you can ramble too much. You need some structure that you're going to be following. So you want to have a plan for your videos. And this is just having some bullet points at least. Is also about making sure that your video is for your particular avatar. So you want to make sure that the video is not something just for you, but it's actually to the avatar of your channel. So we always want to have one avatar for the channel, one person that we are creating videos for, so that they want to watch every video that we upload. So it needs to be relevant to that particular person. So when planning out your videos and jotting it down, it needs to be relevant to that person so that they will want to watch it. So you want to make sure that you've got that. So you want to have at least some notes to follow. You can have sticky notes. If I'm going out and about, I tend to just have little sticky notes that I write down the main bullet points, and then I pick up my action camera and I just talk to those. So if I'm walking down the beach or whatever else, I've at least got some bullet points on those. But you could also have slides on your computer that you're just moving through like you're doing a presentation. So you've got the visual prompts at least. I would avoid having a teleprompter because it's going to make you, a full script is something I don't recommend, basically. One, it's going to take a lot more time to create videos because you're going to have to write that script, and you're going to have to write it in a style and a way that is your authentic voice. It sounds like you. And that's more difficult because we don't always write in the way that we speak. So automatically your writing is going to sound different to you. And then you reading as well is going to make you seem a bit robotic. So I would just say keep to bullet points and then do the videos that way. So slides, sticky notes, a few prompts, whatever you're going to do, follow that strategy. And then there's two sort of formats that I would follow. One, especially if you're doing the sort of educational style, then list style videos are going to be very good for you, or listicle style videos. Where people go, the 3 main reasons for this, or 8 points on this, or the 5 best of that. These list style videos are going to be very easy for you to speak to because you just have point and example. So I would always have a point and then an example to drill it home if you can. It just makes it visually easier for people to understand. And those list style videos are going to be much easier for you to do when you're just writing down bullet points that you sort of want to wing it on. So it's like 1 of this, 1 point, 2 point, like I'm doing in this video, basically. And then the other main way is the TOS strategy, which I've referred back to before. And TOSS stands for the theme of the channel, the outcome of watching the video that the person wants, the viewer wants. So it's the outcome, the goal, the question they want answered, whatever else. But it's normally 1 point that you're speaking to in the video. We then want to simplify. So we want to make sure that, especially if you're an educational channel, you've thought about it and you're going to simplify what you're going to share with people. Because if you're, say, walking down the road and you don't have your computer or whatever else, it's going to be much easier for you to speak on a topic that you've simplified. Otherwise, you're going to need to bring in lots of visual things to try and, you're going to lose people. Like, think about this. If you were telling me this on a radio station, would I comprehend what you're saying? Because then if your words can make it simpler, it's going to be much easier. So think about this like you're actually going to be recording like you're on the radio, but you're trying to convey the message and the information with just your words, because maybe it's just your face that's showing. So your face isn't going to bring much more unless you're using B-roll and visuals to bring that together. So simplify what you're saying and then use story. So the final S is story. You want to try and tie a mundane or relatable story from your day-to-day life, or maybe a story that actually connects to that as well. Maybe you do actually have a real relevant story for that example within the message of what you're talking about in the video, and tie that story into the simplification and what you're explaining. And that story will visually bring home the simplification of what you were saying anyways. So that TOS strategy is great for your sort of standard vlogging videos, especially when it comes to educational and information. And it will keep you more concise on what you want to talk about. It gives you the room to speak sort of grandpa method style and ramble a bit, because you at least know the main story, the main point, and what you need to come full circle back to when you sort of close off the loop at the end of the video. And just allow yourself to be okay with being imperfect. Know that, yes, you're going to follow bullet points, but you're going to make mistakes. People like the genuine feeling of videos that we're just having a conversation. So the more you can actually be imperfect and allow yourself to do it, the better and easier that it's going to get for you. Point number 7 is to engage with your audience and to understand that the viewers on your channel are real people. Think of it more like building a community rather than just trying to get the number of views. Because if you look at the people as a community of real people that you're actively helping and serving, then you're going to feel more of a bond with them, especially if you feel like, okay, I'm actually sharing all of my knowledge and wisdom for free, and I'm actually doing you a favor. Say I'm doing an educational channel, I'm actually sharing my knowledge, I'm creating these videos, and I'm doing it to help you. doesn't matter if it's perfect or not, just as if you were helping someone in the real world. So, yeah, I think engage with your audience, try and build a community, connect with them, and see them as real people. And I think you'll find that easier, and you'll be more relaxed about helping them in the things that they want. And they'll also tell you what they want and their problems, and you'll be able to connect with them more. And the more you connect with them in the comments and in posts and everything else, they'll start to engage more with your content as well. And become more of a two-way conversation rather than just you blurting out a load of content and them just watching it. So just you talking and them listening. Point number 8 is to experiment and, just to not overthink. This comes back to taking imperfect action. And although on other points I mentioned, we need to edit to stop the rambling a bit, and we want to follow formats to make sure that we're not rambling too much, or we at least come back full circle. But, don't be scared of rambling. Don't be scared of practicing on camera. You will get better. Videos will be crap to start, and just put them out there. But do try to improve your videos. Do look back and go, I rambled a bit too much on that one. But see the feedback. You never know. Quite often, depending on the topic and how you actually ramble as well, a lot of people will actually like that. Lots of people like the fact that you ramble on. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid, to ramble. Embrace imperfection and just moving forward while also following those formats that I laid out before and improving and getting better at them. Just try and focus on the authenticity first, having that moment and connection with your audience, and then just gradually improve. Just gradually improve as you move through. So there you go. As I said before, if you would like my free Quick Start Vloggers Guide, I will put a link to that in the video description, and that will help you more with this process of getting set up and the things that you need to think about when getting started. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, any questions, just ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside the next one.